Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 8 in the Magic the Gathering Amonkhet Bundle Bingo. Check out my preview video for the explanation on how this bundle bingo will work. I've added the link to the preview video in the description below. So, here is my bingo card. We've got just 3 packs left, and it looks like we're on the same course as our Magic the Gathering 2014 course set. Fat Pack Bundle Bingo. Only been able to mark off 2 squares, foil, rare, mythic, and the free square. So hopefully today I'll be able to hit bingo by getting that Anointed Procession, or I could get the 2 uncommons and hit bingo as well. Alright, so as I get ready to crack this pack, just a reminder that my viewpoint is from a mainly casual, let me stress the word casual, Magic the Gathering player viewpoint. There are my 3 packs left, so we're going to crack 8 today. So after I crack this pack, I'm going to choose the best card out of the pack. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't, but at least it will be fun. So let's get to cracking this pack. I've noticed that a lot of the first cards in the pack are blue, sometimes white. Alright, first card is Naga Oracle. 4 mana, 3 and a blue. It's a Naga Cleric at 2/4. When Naga Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, putting a number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. So this is a cool way in blue, if you're playing blue-black or blue-white, to fuel Embalm. So you'd look at your cards, toss one to the graveyard, kind of give you an extra card in your hand, if you will, to embalm and bring back. I didn't play too much with this, aside from a couple of times in like a blue-white Flyers deck, and for 4 mana, 2/4 isn't great, but it kind of holds the ground. The drawback was it was such an aggressive format that by turn 4, if you weren't really out being more aggressive than your opponent, you were losing. Alright, Cartouche of Zeile, single mana, red, enchantment Cartouche. Enchant creature you control. When Cartouche of Zeile enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. So, yeah, another tool in the red-white aggro build. For 1 mana, plop this down, give one of your creatures +1/+1. Who cares if you don't give haste? But, by this point, you target a creature that can't block, you swing him for some damage. Yeah, red-white aggro was just really strong in this block. Haze of Pollen, 2 mana, 1 and a green. Instant, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, cycling 3, generic. Yeah, this card, didn't like, it's garbage. I know during this time of play there was a Turbo Fog deck that was going around, but this one, yeah, I'd rather just play Fog if I'm going to prevent combat damage. And 3, generic to cycle. Makes this card, I think, really unplayable. Alright, next card is Festering Mummy, single black for a zombie 1/1. When Festering Mummy dies, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So kind of a reprint of Shambling, I think it's Shambling Goblin, I want to say. Similar thing, 1 mana, 1/1, when it dies, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. This was actually okay to play in a black dance deck against the aggro decks, especially red-white, because most of their butts were 1. So you block with this, maybe take out one of their guys, and then take out another one with the -1/-1 counter. So it wasn't too bad during that period of time. Not a card that I currently play. Slitherblade, we've talked about before, single blue mana. It's a Naga Rogue at 1/2, Slitherblade can't be blocked. So this is a pretty good trick in blue-white mainly, where you pile a bunch of auras or equipment onto this creature and then get through for a lot of damage. It's definitely a card that I've seen be played, especially with a 1/2 body and can't be blocked. It's a difficult card to deal with. It had a really great combo with Curious Obsession as well. Talkrop Elite, 4 mana, 3 and a white, Bird Warrior, 2/2, flyer. You may exert Talkrop Elite as it attacks. When you do, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So we've talked about this before. Kind of the end of the mana curve for the red-white aggro deck. You'd have, I don't know, 2 or 3 creatures out on the battlefield. You play this, you exert it the next turn, go all in, and just wreck your opponent. Great card. Violent Impact, 4 mana sorcery, destroy target artifact or land, cycling 2. Garbage, I'm going to spend time on it. Painted Bluffs, another garbage card, land desert. Tap to add colorless, or you can pay 1 generic, tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. No. In Sealed, I wasn't that desperate to play it. In Draft, I never even drafted it. Wasn't really into splashing much more than just, you know, the 2-color decks. And even now, it's just garbage card. Even Initiate, 4 mana, 3 and a blue. You get a Bird Warrior. It's got flying. It's 3/2. You can embalm it for 7, 6 and a blue mana. It's a good card. I liked it. Played it quite frequently in a blue-white Flyers deck. If it died, you just embalm it, bring it back later in the game. Gust Walker, 2 mana, 1 and a white. Human Wizard. It's a 2/2. You may exert Gust Walker as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+1, gains flying until end of turn. Yeah, this fit right into the red-white aggressive strategy. You know, you play it on turn 2, turn 3, you'd put an enchantment on it, maybe even a cartouche. The white one, you'd swing in, you'd exert it, couldn't even block it. It would be dealing, you know, more than its 3/3 damage, possibly 4/4 damage. There is a little bit of tricky untapped creatures, especially in white-green, where you could exert it 1 turn. On your next turn, you'd untap it before combat, exert it again, swing in for 3 more damage. Great card. Our first uncommon is Time to Reflect. It's a single white mana. Instant, exile target creature that blocked or is blocked by a zombie this turn. So, let me read that again. Exile target creature that blocked or was blocked by a zombie this turn. So, you know, it was a little bit of a cool trick, but it only worked if you were playing against someone in a zombie deck, so it had just kind of a one-sided ability. I never played with that often. There was a couple of times I did draw zombie decks. It could pan out. Problem is, in the aggro decks, you didn't really want it because you're getting through anyway. And in the zombie decks, they just ended up being a little too slow with white. They were better as a mono black deck, so didn't really play too much with it. Censor, all right, we get to mark off a square. That's super exciting. I wanted, the reason why I put Censor on this bingo checklist was because I already had 3 censors, so I was looking for a playset. I know I could probably go and drop like 50 cents, maybe even $1 to get a censor. I just want to pull it out of packs. So pulling this out of a pack gives me 4, as I said. So pretty excited to get Censor. It's 2 mana, 1 and a blue. It's an instant, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1, generic. Here's the awesome part. You can pay a single blue and cycle it. So I currently have a Sphinx control deck that's built kind of in the Amonkhet Hour of Devastation time frame. And I utilize cycling a ton in the deck. And early on, you can play a Censor on turn 2 and pretty much catch everything or anything your opponent's going to play. Later in the game, yeah, you can hold on to it. It's a mana tithe at best, so if they tap all out and they don't have a mana to play or pay for it, it's great. If not, yeah, cycle on the end step and get something out of it. Have a bunch of Sphinxes or other cards that kind of build off of the cycling ability, so really excited to get Censor and be able to mark off another bingo square. Gravedigger, so this has been a reprint. It's 4 mana, 3 and a black zombie. It's a 2/2. When Gravedigger enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So pretty cool card. You get the ability to grab a creature out of your graveyard, put it into your hand, and you get a 2/2 body. And this kind of standard black Gravedigger was just way too slow. By turn 4, if you're getting something out of graveyard and putting it on the battlefield, that was great, but putting it back in your hand, you're usually dead by then because of the aggressive decks. In other formats, so it was recently printed, I think in M20, where it was a little bit slower, Gravedigger does a lot of work because you can get back something that died early, play Gravedigger, then play whatever creature you got back, back to the battlefield your next turn. So Gravedigger had a lot of uses. All right, so we're going to be able to mark off 2 squares today. We've got Censor. Can we get bingo now with getting one of the Amonkhet gods? All right, so here we go. Here's the reveal. Oh, we got a rare cycling land. So we will be able to mark off 2 bingo squares. Shelter Thicket, it's a mountain forest, so it can be fetched with the fetches, if you will. Sheltered Thicket enters the battlefield tapped, and it has cycling too. So I do like the cycling lands. I thought they were really cool. Yeah, sure, they come tapped. That's kind of annoying. But if you're playing late game and you've got plenty of mana and you don't need land, cycling it for 2 generic and getting yourself a different card is a really good thing to be able to do. So I do like the cycling lands. Notice that Ikoria, the new set, has the tri lands that are cycling as well. So we'll see how those pan out. But definitely like this cycling block in Amonkhet. And then we have a forest and an Aven Initiate token. So it can go with our Aven Initiate. So if we embalm the Avian Initiate, we'll bring it back with that token. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at what I think is the best card or my favorite card out of the pack. You know, I think the best card out of the pack based upon when this set was being played was definitely Cartouche of Zeile for a single mana, giving something +1/+1, making sure a creature on the other side of the board can't block. Even if you play it late game, it is great because you could play a creature that had summoning sickness, play Cartouche of Zeile, swing in for a bunch of damage. It was just a really hard format or meta deck to play against. It was just awful in draft and sealed. If you saw someone was playing red-white and you were playing maybe a slightly slower mid-range or, you know, dirtly deck, you were just dead. You couldn't compete with it. All right, so let's get these marked off. We got one of the rare cycling lands, and we got Censor. So in our final 2 packs, we're setting ourselves up to get Bundle Bingo. We can either get it by getting a Dread Wanderer, we can get it 2 different ways by getting an Amonkhet God, or if we can pull a Bantu's Monument, we've got Bingo. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comment section what your favorite card was out of the pack, or what you thought was the best card out of the pack. Until next time, when I'm back to crack pack number 9 of my Magic the Gathering Amonkhet Bundle Bingo.